I don't have my earbuds. I'm a professional. Okay. Um. Knock out this one kid quest because it should be fairly fast, and then let's go for that Mitsuhide. And because I've been playing Monster Hunter, I hit the R1 button to run.
落ち着け、純次郎。私が探してみよう。少し聞き回ってみる。
He's up there.
よう来られた。参拝のお方か？
いえ、僧を探しておるのです。草原という老僧を見たことは？
おお、草原殿か。あの変わったご老人ですな。親切だが驚くほど頑固者の。
頑固でなければあの年まで生きてはおれません。
どれほど進めても宿にも宿坊にも泊まらず、滝のそばで野宿をすると言うて聞いてくださらんかった。民の安寧を願うなら正しくお参りをせねばと言われましてな。今もその場所におられるはずです。
Alright, thanks, buddy. Ow. Taiko, that's a fun game.
お嬢様、お久しぶり。
Donkey Konga.
おお、直江。いつか来るのではと思っとった。ついに見つかったか。
草原様。
純次郎、達者であったか。
Yasuke's here too. Hello.
草原様はこんなところで寝泊まりを。汚いし狭いし薪も足りとらん。俺がお手伝いします。ヤスケと一緒に。
純次郎の父のこと聞きました。まさか和尚様まで私を欺かれておられたとは。
わしは誠のことしか申しておらぬ。それが時に曖昧であってもな。
それでも私のしたことを知りながら私たちを親しくさせるとは。
そ そのことに悔いはないぞ。わしもあの子もな。那智の滝、見事であろう。この滝には飛龍権現という神が宿ると伝えられておってな。それはこの地での仏のお姿なのだ。そして広い心を持てば、
That's probably a persona.
共に生きてゆけるのだと我々に教えてくれておる。
私と純次郎を引き合わせて何故うまくいくと思われたのです。
魂には形がある。へこんでおったり尖っておったりな。そしてその魂の形が重なり合えば、その二人はうまくいく。人の絵にしとは分からぬものよの。あの子をそなたのもとに預け旅に出たら、変わった侍を連れて会いに来るのじゃからな。
安家は強く心根のまっすぐな男です。純次郎のそばにおってほしいものは他にそうはおりません。この先も長き旅となるのですか？
そうじゃな。西国観音巡礼の道のりは長く、これはまだ旅の始まり。遠回りした後、やっと誠の始まりにたどり着いた。
それほど長き道のりの巡礼に挑まれるとは頭が下がります。しかもそのお年で。
この足で行けるとこまで行くだけじゃ。されどわしの身を案じてくれていることは分かっておる。嬉しいぞ。
次は汁を作ります。何度も作ってとびきりうまいもの。
Kid, I don't think you have to worry about collecting water.
純次郎はまこと優しいな。
楽しみじゃの。
Alright. Cool. This is, I think. Oh, that's not the main story. Where's the main story? Main story? Excuse me. There's the main story. Is up, Lady Nene.
戻ったのじゃな。
ねね様。
そなたが訪ねてくるわけは一つ。百鬼衆であろう。
はい。残るは光秀のみ。
ご恩に報いんとする働き。
Guys, there are two on the murder board.
もったいなきお言葉。
光秀は昇龍事情に軍勢を集めておる。あやつらはこれより始まる我らの仇討ちを恐れるがよい。
信長様は天下一統を願われたが、光秀が狙いは天下の征服。そこに義はありませぬ。
ならば攻め入り義をなすのみ。こうしている今も秀吉様は昇龍寺城の近くで軍備を整えておいでじゃ。こたびの戦、後の世を形作るものになるであろう。秀吉様が勝てば世は新しい局面を迎える。そして秀吉様は天
Welcome
下
to
人。
the new.
先は読めぬ。秀吉様は野心家であられるが、それはどの大名も同じこと。今は光秀を倒すことこそ寛容。さあ、百騎衆を終わらせねば、そなたの探す者がそこで見つからんことを。秀吉に明智を討たれては箱は戻らん。何としても先手を取らんとは。
ならば急ぎ参ろう。
In Yamashita.
Hello there.
Hello.
How's it going?
It is going well. This man's having a fun time.
All right, I was delayed for just a bit. How are we? Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm seeing this dude now. What the hell?
He's just dancing.
Look, the Animus is not a perfect recreation of the past.
No, it is not.
Here's like, or is it? What if that canonically happened? Like, it's fun to write some of this stuff off as just the Animus glitching out, but what if that guy actually did that?
I mean, so there is a thing in Ishin, Like a Dragon, somewhat related to that, where there was apparently just this weird dance craze that swept the nation.
Was it the hustle?
No,
Damn.
it was the Ijanaika or something like that, and they use that as like a way to like block map progression because there'd just be people dancing in the middle of the streets.
Fair enough.
And then I looked it up, and apparently that's a real thing that happened in that era of Japan. And it's like, okay, sure.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I think that might be one of the most effective roadblocks ever devised for me personally. I can't think of anything I would like to do less than walk through a crowd of dancing people. Also, hey, Hideyoshi's here.
Hideyoshi's here.
I love that guy, even though Neo 2, he's a dick and betrays you. But it's okay, because he was possessed by an evil tapir at the time.
I love Japan's tapir villains because that's like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why necessarily, but
in that case, it actually makes sense because the tapir ate his dream. Like, because the whole concept of them is that they eat your dreams, but I like the idea of it, like, metaphysically eating your dream as in your goal for life. And therefore you are now, like, a weird, fucked up version of yourself that dances around like a weird little monkey man.
Oh, he's got a monkey mask. Look at him.
Yeah. Again, I'm glad that you finally met Hideyoshi, but I really wish you guys would have got here to kill Hideyoshi, or got here to kill Mitsuhide, and Hideyoshi's just already standing over his body like, I got here like a month ago. It was really fast,
It was
actually.
really fast. It was like 11 days. Yeah, how many
so
seasons?
Fast,
like
they'll probably make up a term for how fast I kicked this guy's ass.
took you guys
Yeah,
like
weather was
8
nuts,
years.
right? like you get there and kill Mitsuhide, and then like Naoe and Yasuke look at each other, and they're like, "Man, the weather last week was fucking crazy, right?" Oh, you could say, like, because in the modern day Assassin's Creed story, isn't, like, the fucking climate apocalypse happening?
Yes.
So you could say that, like, the Animus is glitching out due to the actual weather in the real world. So it's like this really was just 11 days, but the weather changed that much in modern times, so the Animus is trying to adapt. It's like the simulation is glitching out because weather forecasting has become completely fucked. Cool fight scene.
Yeah.
All right, and while that battle's happening, we're gonna sneak around the back.
Sneak as I decide to play as Yasuke.
Oh man.
Oh, hey, the season
right.
changed.
So, missed opportunity here. One of those play as Yasuke, play as Naue things, because it was a shot of that castle. Here's my dream version. If you pick play as Naue, it zooms in on like a trapdoor opening and Naue like jumping into the castle. If you pick play as Yasuke, it zooms in and the fucking wall just explodes as you barrel through like the Kool-Aid Man.
That would be great.
Like actual dynamic entrances for each character would have been really fun. That poor man. There were like 3 hits in that combo after his head was off.
You gotta make sure, you know?
To be fair, wait, wasn't it this game where there was like a bug where someone got decapitated and then kept fighting for a little while?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, okay. So fair enough.
It was during the off-stream, like, collectible getting, but I did start running into that bug where I would assassinate someone and then they just pop back up and then I'd assassinate them. I'd assassinate them like 4 times before they actually stayed down.
The first enemy I found in the wild after the tutorial in this entire game did that. Like, I was literally, I got out of the tutorializing, got out of the shrine, went to just go run through the wilderness, got lost in the trees, found a bandit laying down, stabbed him, popped up, stabbed him again, fell down, popped up, stabbed him again, died. It was like, what the fuck is going on? It was a great first impression. I say first impression, but it was after the tutorial, so it was like 3 hours in.
Yeah.
Also, that is a cool Yasuke outfit.
I got this cool hat and I was like, I like this hat.
It's a good hat.
But yeah, I was gonna say, you gotta make sure. I may have watched a movie this weekend involving someone who didn't make sure good enough, and that became a problem.
You always want to make sure. I'm glad that movie's good, by the way. Should we just drop right into
Talking about Thunderbolts?
talk?
I'll be pretty vague, I guess, because...
Okay, because I just wanted to talk about shit that's going to happen way later in that movie, because I haven't seen it or looked up spoilers, but I know the characters involved. So I was just going to spoil fucking... I don't know if I'm spoiling anything with the movie. I was going to spoil shit with the comics for sure.
Yeah. That's totally fine. What I will say is that... and I know this... I feel like I'm setting you up too big, and I apologize. That movie reminded me a lot of that Guardians of the Galaxy game. Which...
Okay.
Because I think the Marvel stuff gets real good when they use the superheroes against metaphors, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And
when it's heroes versus the religion of giving up.
Yeah. Pretty much, basically. Anyway. Talk about the comic books.
Oh, I was just going to say that from what I have heard, they got the Sentry right.
Yes.
I am less sure that they got the Void right, but if they got the Sentry right, they probably got the Void too.
I would... so I'm only, like, vaguely familiar with the Sentry and the Void. I know it's different, but I think they did it really well.
Well, there's stuff that they really... There's stuff they only could have done if they did this in, like, a show format. and I'm glad they didn't. But in my head, I can really, really easily see how like a one-season Sentry show, like 6 to 8 episodes, would have done super well.
Yes.
That would have been the best way to adapt the story of the Sentry comic where he was introduced. Would have been like a 6 to 8 episode series. Have you ever read that initial run on the Sentry?
I have not.
The initial run where the Sentry is first introduced is one of my favorite comics. It's fucking great. But yeah, it's very much set up in that comic is very much set up in the way of like also Mitsuhide out.
Yep. Oh. That was kind of what you wanted, sort of. I'm not entirely sure where I popped out of there.
The shadows. But yeah, the initial Sentry comic is basically set up as a dude living in a small suburban household, slowly realizing that he has superpowers, and then going, what the fuck? And then realizing that, like, has like repressed memories of being a hero, and trying to like go around to different members of the Marvel Universe and be like, do you know who the fuck I am? Not in like an aggressive, arrogant way, but in I legitimately would like to know. Please tell me you know who I am. It's very good, but eventually you find out that essentially the Sentry in the comics is essentially a dude who took a experimental super soldier serum. It gave him the most absurd goddamn set of superpowers imaginable, to the point where people aren't even sure what all of his powers are. But he's basically Superman with a added dose of just like weird psychic bullshit. But he's mentally unwell, and I believe they say that he is. It's comic books; they always get their diagnoses wrong. But he's been referred to as like a schizophrenic, agoraphobic. Like he's got a litany of things. He's an unwell person with insane superpowers, and the stress of being essentially the most powerful hero on the planet basically drove him to kind of create a separate personality to counteract everything he does. It's basically like he can't handle making as much of a difference as a hero as he does. So there's a secondary created personality called the Void that literally manifests outside of his body and acts to do the exact same amount of harm that he prevents as the Sentry, to basically negate all of his actions so that he doesn't actually make a difference. It's actually a really interesting idea.
Yeah. And so in the movie, it is similar, but it is different. I will say.
Well, yeah, in the comics, there's a very meta aspect that's extremely cool. Also, yeah, Nobunaga was a dick. We know this.
Yes. He was a dick, but he had ambition.
忘れなどせん。それに伊賀のことも、音をお前に殺されたこともな。
致し方なかった。されど、そなたらは百姓謎を暴君の座に据えんとしておるのだぞ。わしが守ったこの日の本を、やすやすと滅ぼさせはせる。
しかし、ウヌの手からこの地を救うのだ。
Do appreciate that we have both drawn katanas, despite I don't have a katana equipped on either person.
Although that scene would have been much funnier if you drew your sick, like,
my
electric blue.
yeah, my animus glitch Naginata,
Yeah,
and he
like,
was
I
just
just
like,
wanna
"What
see
the
it, like-
fuck?"
Yeah, you draw that image and it's like, wait, what the fuck is that?
I did finish I finished one of the battle passes.
Oh, nice. I will say, I do really appreciate that Mitsuhide is, I mean, presumably at the end of this fight, going to be murdered while attempting to flee through a small village.
That was cool.
Cha! It was cool, but also you just did like a sick kickflip over his body when you probably could have shanked him. It was a cool setup for a playable sequence, but I feel like you could have got some damage in there now, way. Then again, it's not like she really needs to get some damage in there. This dude is not looking good. Oh, Mitsuhide, you're everything.
That man has been stabbed in the face and or neck. And the chest, the arms,
話せ
maybe a bit of the legs.
He gets stabbed in a lot of things.
まだ上がおる。
Yeah, no shit, the murder board had another spot.
都に返り咲くはずであったの
Yeah,
だ。
of course.
俗にここまで追い
We get it,
詰められ
Yoda.
るとは見くびっておったわ。我が夢ももはやこれまで。後に残るは行方をくらまし生き延び
Is it gonna be that one guy we met at the sumo match and then who just randomly vanished? Yes, okay,
I
it
was
was that
just-
guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he didn't say, like, he would have been Shogun again.
正当なる将軍様じゃ。
それで箱はいずこにある
Also, what's in the box?
久保様が持っておる。あれは
The Imperial Regalia.
No.
宝珠か
I do appreciate they just throw, okay, here's what's in the
探
box.
しておった。
You're this far in the game, I'm just gonna tell you what's in the box.
伊賀の村に隠されておったとは思わなかった
Also, these peasants back there are losing their shit.
Yep.
使えた強者は数知れ
I mean, to be fair, if
されど
if a shogun showed up and fought the largest black man I've ever seen and a flippy lady in front of me, I would be like, "What is happening?"
覚悟せよ。わしは武士として生き
Okay, I'm glad that was Naue pacing because I thought that was just another random civilian walking behind you in that scene.
Like, "Hey, what's up?"
You suck, Mitsuhide.
それがしはやぶさかではないが。
こやつにな
Oh. Look at that horse.
時は今。雨がしずくさつきかな。
Well, thank God it's not Red Dead Redemption 2. Just horse taking a shit right behind Mitsuhide.
池の流れを。
Really, you're gonna let this guy sit here and get a death poem out?
お前の道を
Revenge
じゃがお父の功は生き続ける
Right in the neck.
Dead. Alternately, it would have been really good if, like, you got the option to pick whether you did Naue or Yasuke for the killing blow, and then whatever you pick, Hideyoshi just runs in on a horse and tramples him. It's like, got him!
I was gonna. It would have been like that bit in Metal Gear Solid 5 with Huey and
bit?
Skullface.
Yeah.
I got.
Oh,
Speaking
Huey
of
was
riding
such
in
a
on a
shit.
horse,
Huey was such a shitbag.
just a little bit.
Do you think they made Huey so shitty to, like, retroactively soften the part where Otakon cucked his father to death?
I don't know, but it does retroactively make Otacon that much cooler. Not well, I don't know, but like
In that he killed his shitbag father, kind
In-
of indirectly.
in that he became way better at the whole, living and doing science thing than his shitbag father.
Oh, I was gonna say, speaking of Metal Gear Solid 5, I had a fucking blast from the past. Crazy head transplant guy is back,
Oh,
claiming that he wants to do another crazy head transplant. And I had completely forgotten that there was a whole period of time where people were convinced that Crazy Head Transplant Guy was actually part of the Metal Gear Solid 5 marketing.
Yep.
Because he looks so much like the doctor from that game, and the head transplant thing is so fucking stupid. But yeah, apparently that guy's back trying to do another head transplant. Very weird, surreal dive back through time.
持つ者にやっとたどり着いたと思うたのに。
残るはあと一人。我らなら成し遂げられよう。
I love how everyone's just like, all right, there's one left. And it's like, you guys, you spent the last, you know, like...
Last, fucking insert Microsoft Sandbox, 11 days.
thinking that this was the last guy.
This... Don't get me wrong, this is a good game, but what a bizarre choice for the story.
A little bit.
It's only bizarre to me because I think there was like a much more obvious setup, which was you set it like immediately after Mitsuhide's 11-day reign.
Yeah, like Mitsuhide is the first guy outside of Junjiro's dad, and then you keep going instead of, oh, Mitsuhide is the big bad person. Oops. Hold on.
But like, I guess the thing is, it's like, what was I gonna say? Because like there's a ton of rumors and stories about Mitsuhide supposedly faking his own death and going into hiding as like a monk in the mountains. What did they like? I think he refers to himself as like Tinko or something along those lines. The point is, there's a lot of myths and legends that Mitsuhide faked his own death to escape that 11-day period and then like died as a monk in the mountains. And you could have set this in that time period of like, we have to go find Mitsuhide because he's not really dead.
That also would have worked.
Hello?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, okay.
It was my end.
I thought it was OBS for a minute, and then I was like, oh wait, no. I had to open up a separate page to be like, nope, I've still got internet. Just checking.
Whoops.
All right, we're back. Oh wait, is this guy just right there?
He's just right here.
Oh, okay. I assumed there was going to be like a whole lead up to him.
I think I accidentally skipped them walking up to him. It didn't seem like there I missed any dialogue.
It's fine. I like the "Do not fear me, I am alone." It's like, motherfucker, we've killed like 300 people to get here, at least.
少なくともかつてそう称えられたものであろう。
私の父を殺めた卑怯者じゃ。
I have nothing to hide, says man constantly behind mask.
仁義は中にあるのか。
このわしにも恐れ多く感じるものはある。箱がどこにあれど、中には宝珠がなくては。そなたの立ち直りの速さを侮っておったぞ。そのためにわしは全てを失ってしもうた。
奪われたものを取り戻すと、父と約束した。私は約束を守る。
あっぱれな心がけじゃ。それはそなたのためとなろう。
何故そうたやすく渡すのだ。
わしが生きて戻るため、そなたらに和議を申し入れたい。これは、その初めの一手。
ならん、お前にはここで死んでもらう。
若き伊賀者よ。そなたの真の望みは仇討ちではなかろう。
Yeah, that ain't happening, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
そなたと同じ。
Yeah.
手首の隠し刃を使う者をな。今は
It's not vengeance you truly desire. No, it's vengeance.
座るがよい。
どこだ。
生きて逃がすと約束すれば居所を教えてやろう。
女だったか。
わからぬ。わしの密偵はそやつが煙のように消えたことに感心しておった。
誠の話かはわからぬぞ。
この影に追われると知りながら嘘をつくとでも思うか。わしはそれで痛い目を見たばかりなのだぞ、侍よ。
I neglected to ask. I am going to refer to her as she, though.
Yeah.
わかった。約束しよう。
ヤマトの 坂船石じゃ。
You have my word, but not Yasuke's.
Now kiss.
行くぞ。
まだだ。
Well,
約束しておらぬ。貴様は我が主の死に加担した。このまま済まさ。
you called that one.
織田信長のような戦狂いのうつけこそ世の敵であろう。どれほどの民を殺めたことか。あのような者らが力を求めて相争い、100年余りに
Undermined the order of the shogunate with their ambition.
世を生み出したのはあやつらよ。天下を治むるにふさわしきはこのわしじゃ。わしは乱れた世を治めるため、元の位を取り戻そうとしただけのこと。
ゆえに加藤衆が託されておった箱を奪ったと。
あれには不可思議な力が宿るという。それを使うて世直しをし、日の本の行く末を守るはずであった。
だがそれを貴様は撃った。
ああ、あれがただの商人やイエズス会ではないことは、そなたも知っておろう。そなたはかねてよりテンプル騎士団を追っておるのであろう。わしを殺すことよりも、あの者らが滅びることこそ、そなたの本懐ではなかろうか。それとも、その鎧の下は奴らの同類か。この命を助けるというならば、知っておることを教えよう。
デュアルテ・デメロならばすでに見つけておる。奴隷戦での悪行三昧ももう終わりだ。
ただの
ドワルテ
白金御前を訪ねるがよい。お主らに親身になってくれるやもしれぬ。
もう十分だ。
百騎衆なき今、お前には何の力もない。箱を追う偉人どもに殺されるがいい。
されど箱を持っておるのはわしではなく。
Yeah, that's the problem. They're gonna come back and find that you don't have the box, and they're going to kill you.
心底な。
信長様はさような者らを恐れることはなかった。あのお方の名は永久についえぬが、貴様は恥をさらしていき、死せば忘れられよう。
I mean, he's got a point.
望むものは得られたか。
ああ、じゃが。
I mean, I don't know who that guy is.
I'd never heard of that guy until this game.
互いにまだ進むべき道が
I've heard of Nobunaga. That man's got ambition. How many times can I make that joke?
He's got like 16 games worth of ambition.
思い務めも分かち合えば軽くなろう。
I think they're only up to like 13, but I'm also counting spin-offs.
I think the 14th one was at that switch to direct.
Hold on, I can look this up.
There's I got the box.
There are 17 if you count Pokemon Conquest.
Okay, they're more than I thought.
Which I want to point out the Nobunaga's Ambition timeline on the side here of releases does count Pokemon Conquest.
That's great. Okay.
Nobunaga's name will live forever. That man had a Zekrom. Oh, but what were we talking about before all that? Oh, right, we were talking about the Sentry.
Yep.
So the Sentry comic, the original run, had a really fun thing where they basically presented him as a hero from like the start of Marvel, back when like the comics first started running. So you got like snippets of issues that were like, here's an old classic Spider-Man artist doing a couple pages of like a Sentry Spider-Man crossover from the 60s that never really happened.
That's
but
fun.
with that dialogue style and with that art style, basically as characters would remember, like, oh wait, I think I do remember hanging out with the Sentry actually. And then a big part of the plot is trying to figure out like why no one could remember him and why he has all these memories of like being with all these characters and doing all this stuff. And the whole plot of the comic is basically that he remembers the void exists, and he's worried the void is going to come back and like destroy the world. So he has to gather all the heroes to fight the void and make them remember like that he exists. And then at the end of the comic, they reveal obviously the whole thing with Sentry and the Void. Spoilers, being the same person. I don't even think that's spoilers for the movie at this point.
Yeah, then
I feel like that's fairly obvious, but yeah, there's a whole reveal of that, and they reveal that that's why he like what do you call it? That's why no one can remember him, is that he basically made Reed Richards made a machine to make everyone forget the Sentry existed, including himself, so that the void would also go away. And then when he remembers who he is, the void also comes back.
but yeah, I really liked that movie. Florence Pugh and David Harbour are really good together as
ここで密偵をまいたのかな。
as weird father-daughter relationship. Fake father, fake daughter.
義明は
David Harbour is good at playing a dad.
Yeah. Also, my family less agreeable to it than I am, but I don't think we would be friends in real life, but I kind of enjoy John Walker.
I also kind of enjoy John Walker. Even after the whole Falcon and Winter Soldier show, I thought he got like, yeah, he fucked up, clearly.
Yeah.
But considering the circumstances in which he fucked up, I was always like, I kind of get it. And he's still, like, by the end of that show, I think he makes an okay comeback of, like, trying to do the right thing.
I appreciate that he is a guy who tries to do the right thing, but just fucks it up sometimes. Most of the time, as you do.
Well, again, it's one of those things, like, they made him Captain America, but he's not Steve Rogers. He's not fucking incorruptible pure man.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be fair, Steve Rogers isn't perfect either. He let 9/11 happen. He let JFK get assassinated.
Oh, the JFK assassination reminds me.
Oh no.
My sister got excited because there was a thing that she recognized that neither me nor my brother who were there, my brother is like very into comics, but very into like not into Captain America adjacent things.
Yeah.
Like he's an X-Men guy. And then I know things by virtue of talking with you and working on the Marvel game for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so my knowledge is of a very specific area of time.
Yes.
But apparently at some point in the somewhat recent comics, the Winter Soldier infiltrates some mysterious group called the Outer Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a guy in there who, because comic books, sure, why not, is the guy who assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Fucking what?
And his name is, he became like a member of the Outer Circle, who's the shadowy superpowered people, and his name is like the Revolution. But then he got killed by Bucky, and so Bucky infiltrated the Outer Circle as the new Revolution. He has like a very specific star pattern that shows up in that movie.
I was gonna say, how is that guy capable of being in like an evil secret society? That assassination was one of the most botched assassinations in history. The fact that it worked at all is insane.
Don't worry about it.
Have you ever heard about all the dumb shit that went wrong during that assassination? It's crazy.
Honestly, no.
Oh my god, hold on. I'm gonna bring up a Wikipedia page for this to make sure I don't miss any of the fun. There were so many assassins, and so many of them fucked up, and in the end it only worked because somebody wanted a fucking sandwich. And this is also funny for an Assassin's Creed stream.
Yeah.
To talk about one of the most dumb assassinations in history. Alright. Let me... Although funny and comic book adjacent, the assassins were being aided by a Serbian nationalist group called the Black Hand. Which is a pretty good name. They gave them bombs and pistols, trained them in their use, they gave them safe houses. See, let me see. Yeah, so they were killed by a Bosnian Serbian student named Gavrilo Princip. They were shot close range in Sarajevo, not sure how to pronounce it, but
Yeah.
I used to know. Anyways, he was part of 6 Bosnian assassins, essentially, that were part of a group called Young Bosnia. Not a band, a revolutionary group. Although Young Bosnia, also a great band name, had it not been tainted by this assassination.
Yeah.
Let me see. Here's the background. Alright. So basically there was a motorcade going through the city, and all 6 assassins were like stationed at different points. Let me see.
皆思い出した。音をなぜこの思いを一人で背負おうと。音には私がおったじゃろうに。私がおったの。
So basically, as the car came by, the third car in the motorcade, which contained Franz Ferdinand, the first 2 assassins were waiting, and had bombs and a pistol. And both of the first 2 assassins, basically, it just says they failed to act, which I assume means lost their nerve and were like, let's not. We're actually terrified of throwing these bombs. The third assassin, further up, did throw a bomb, but it bounced off of the folded convertible cover and went back into the street.
Oh no.
Like, it just bounced away. The bomb's timed detonator caused it to detonate under the next car, putting that car out of action. That assassin who threw the bomb swallowed his cyanide pill and jumped into the river. He survived as the old cyanide pill only induced vomiting, and the river was only 13 centimeters deep due to the dry summer. Police dragged him out of the river, and he was severely beaten by the crowd before being taken into custody. That is one of my favorite details, is this dude was like, alright, double suicide. Cyanide capsule and jumping into a river. But the river was so low that he just fucked up his legs, and also the cyanide capsule was old, so he just got really sick. Oh, what a bad day that man had.
That is so funny.
And he botched the bomb toss, so it's really bad. That was all-time fuck up. So yeah, the motorcade sped away because somebody just threw a fucking bomb at us. Yeah, the motorcade passed by a couple guys, and they couldn't really do anything about it because they were going fast, and it was like, well, shit. Franz Ferdinand then went to the town hall and had a visit with the mayor.
As you do. Said, hey man, I had a weird day.
Yeah, I believe the quote here is, Mr. Mayor, I come here on a visit and I am greeted with bombs. It is outrageous.
Fair.
And then he gave a speech, or the mayor gave a speech. Franz Ferdinand had to wait as his own speech, still wet with blood from being in a damaged car, was brought to him. To the prepared text, he added a few remarks about the day's events, thanking the people of Sarajevo for their ovations, as I see in them an expression of their joy at the failure of the attempted assassination. It's like, hey, thanks for being glad that I was not killed. Okay. Okay, this is also funny. Officials and members of the Archduke's party discussed what to do next. The Archduke's Chamberlain proposed that the couple remain at the town hall until troops could be brought into the city to line the streets. The governor vetoed the suggestion on the grounds that the soldiers coming straight from maneuvers would not have the dress uniforms appropriate for such duties. Quote, "Do you think Sarajevo is full of assassins?" Spoilers, yes. They gave up their planned program in favor of visiting the wounded from the bombing at the hospital, which is nice. Yeah, basically because one of the people, like one of the advisors, was in the hospital due to the bombing. Communications got weird, and like the motorcade kind of got split up as they continued on their way. Yeah, literally, the next assassin went to a sandwich shop and was like, well, maybe I'll just get lucky and they'll pass by me. Spoilers, they did. So yeah, literally, it's like their car pulled up to the sandwich shop and they were like, oh wait, we're going the wrong way, put the car in reverse, and stalled out the engine literally directly in front of the assassin. And the assassin was like, oh shit, and then just shot them both with a gun.
As you do.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hattori Hanzo.
Oh right, that guy. He exists.
There was a brief moment when he showed up where I was like, is this gonna be like a fucking The Blacklist situation where he just pulls off his beard and then it's like, I'm your mother.
That happens in The Blacklist?
Not in as much, but James Spader is the main lady's mother, basically.
Oh, okay.
And then the main lady left the show. And then the show kept going for some reason. But yeah, they don't explicitly say it because NBC got cold feet about it because they're lame.
Because yeah.
But there's an entire episode that is basically just saying that without saying it out loud. Your mom was hot.
仁義に莫大な謝礼を出すという話があった。
己が恨みのために足利義明にそのありかを売ったのか。
何者の仕組んだことかは知らなんだが、そんなことはどうでもよかった。あの二人を引き裂けるならばな。それゆえつゆの最も大切なものを奪った。
加藤衆の誓いをお母から奪ったのか。
それは異国の主がつゆに命じただけのこと。わしにとってはそれが塵になろうと関わりなかった。
Mom too hot.
大事じゃった。
Sold out country.
悔やんだ。なれど後の祭りだった。つゆに仁義に危機が及んでおると伝えに走ると、つゆは加藤衆を呼び戻し仁義を守らせようとした。
じゃが叶わんかった。古墳で皆の屍を見た。
仁義は奪われた。わしは皆を裏切り、三太夫はつゆが死んだと言った。なれどわしは決して信じなかった。
お母を探したのか。
何年もな。そしてお主の父が喪に服し立ち直り、お主を育てる姿も見た。時が経つにつれわしの恥も膨らんだ。伊賀への襲撃の後、遅かれ早かれ里が滅ぼされることは分かっておった。つゆの娘を瓦礫の山の中で死なせるわけにはいかなかったのだ。
では伊賀でお父に見せた文を半蔵殿が。
正康が宝珠を持っておると敵が考えるのは分かっておった。家康様にお主らの庇護を申し出るも正康に断られ、もはや討てる手は限られておったのでな。
じゃが百鬼衆がすぐに来てしまった。
お主の父が死んだのは無念であった。親子ともども助けたかったが、まだお主は
Mom too hot. Sold out country.
皆を一つに
Dad
すれ
too
ば我が
lame.
道。
Couldn't save. Says Hanzo.
はぐれ者を集め皆を一つにすることがか。
皆私の家族じゃ。
家族など足手まとい。その弱さが
Someone hasn't seen Fast and Furious.
過ちを繰り返すつもりか。
過ちから学ばぬのは誰じゃ。人を妬み悪鬼の名の他に何を得た。
やり直すためならば何を言われようとも受け入れよう。なおえ父と母の過ちを繰り返すな。
もうたくさんじゃ。私は義に生きる。
わしは死ぬべきなのかもしれん。されどお主の手によってではなく
The
それを決めることは叶うまい。
試すか。
You're a loser, Hanzo.
kind of a loser.
わしはつゆの行方を知るまでは死ぬことはできない。共に真実を知ろうぞ。頼む。
You're not that much of a loser. You're a big loser.
お母が生きておると誠に思うのか。
さよう。
半蔵殿につけば会えるかもしれんと。
そう願っておる。
賢いわらべが教えてくれた。先に進みたくば仇を討とうとする。
Oh, but
生きておれば
at some point, I feel like those dumb Now You See Me movies became Fast and Furious, but instead of cars, it's just magic.
ではまた知らせを待つ。
家康様は正しかった。お主は日の本
Because the trailer was just magicians stealing diamonds from arms smugglers. It's just like, yeah, sure. Fuck it. Why not? Talk to the spot. I should have switched to... Should have fast travel switched to Yasuke, but I didn't. Sorry, hold on. I kind of need that thing that makes that not blockable. Let me just pull a skill point from somewhere else. Also, I find it weird that I think that means that that's just the end of. Yeah. Okay. That's a weird way to end the personal journey of Naue, apparently.
I maybe it's one of those things because they did have that whole roadmap of like
Yeah.
we're doing shit later. So maybe they will patch in the end of that story.
Also, I just realized I forgot to actually change characters. Like, oh, also, it's a really good hat. I forget. What does my hat do again here? That was the other reason. It looks cool, and also, oh yeah, it reduces damage taken by 5% per enemy in conflict. Which, for Yasuke, that's pretty good. To call in horse, not just whistle at. I did a lot of the collectible stuff off camera, but I did not do all of the Jizo statues, and I don't have all the T-balls. Those are the two that I was not able to... Oh, and I don't have all the food.
I have heard that the Jizo statue thing is incredibly annoying.
So what I ended up doing was making it even more hilariously, uncanon, was I was just kind of standing around waiting for the season to change, and then just teleporting around to each region and pulling... Because each season you get, like, one or two... the Kakushibas will tell you of a thing. And so I just got a bunch of Jizo statues that way. It's not gonna happen, but because there's that luchador named Silver King. So the part where Silver Queen is here just makes me think of, like, I'm gonna go talk to some lady in a sick luchador. I'm just holding down the button to try and look for the lady. I'm like, gotta chill out. Oh, there she is. I feel like this was probably the wrong thing to do, but also, like, it was very funny watching them beat up on the quest list for no apparent reason.
Sorry, something I was thinking about as I watched you combo that man relentlessly. Do you think... I don't know. I guess it depends on the game. I feel like there's a point in like a game like this where the character is supposed to be a little bit more realistic, I guess. Enemies should, like, give up.
Yeah.
If I saw Yasuke cut a man's arms off and then his head with like a disturbing amount of delay between those actions, then like I wouldn't want to fight that guy. I'd just be like, hey, I'm out. I'm gonna drop the
I've-
sword. I'm gonna go.
存じておる
It's Judgment, I think, or Lost Judgment that has that,
司法より見
where like certain heat actions you do inflict like terrified, which gives
Mhm.
people a chance to just leave the fight.
Yeah. And I guess there's a balance to be struck where there's a lot of games where you wouldn't want that because you don't want like you want the combat.
Yeah,
you want to
'cause
have fun
it's-
fighting dudes. But it does feel a bit bizarre sometimes where it's like, why? Why wouldn't you just go?
I
Or,
mean,
like,
it's the
play
Uncharted
dead.
problem of like that I think they make a joke about in Uncharted 3 where it's like we're in a burning building. Can we wait and take this fight outside at the very least so we don't die in a horrifying fire?
太刀を振るったところで
No.
Yeah, that's the answer there.
しかり誰と火を生むことはできましょう。
Like obviously if you're fighting like robots or zombies or demons or whatever, then it makes sense. But when you're just fighting like dudes who are paid to do a job, it feels really bizarre that there aren't more of these guards who just like, I'm out, especially like bandits. Okay, so here's the other thing. Hear me out. What fucking bandits on the road are going to attack Yasuke if they see him walking down the road? Really? This guy? This is your mark?
It's
I don't think so.
It's see that's the flip side of the Yakuza problem where it's like, oh, there's this old guy in a white suit. What a loser. I'm gonna
Although I
beat
do
him
like-
up.
I do like that one of those games did have a whole thing about attacking Kiryu being like a gang initiation thing.
Oh yeah,
Like, you got to get your ass beat. Like everyone knows, but it's like part of getting initiated is that you got to get your ass beat by Kiryu.
The tea was extremely green.
細川玉じゃ南蛮人には白金御前と呼ばれておるが私が望んだことではない
銀の取引をされておるのも望むところではないとお見受けいたすが、いかに。
そなたの名は聞き及んでおるがいかなるものかは知らぬ何故ここへ参った
十字の首飾りをした南蛮人を探しに。
見つけたらいかがする
Stab him.
無論、生かしてはおかぬ。
さようなことができると
奴はいずこに。
そのものを知っておるなら何をなせるかも承知しておろう
御前、わざわざそれがしを呼ばれたからには何をなせるかすでにご存知のはず。どうか奴の居場所を必ずやお助け申す。
いや助けてもらうために呼んだのではない。
しからば、一体。
Oh, that tea was too green.
命に従ったまで。
命とは。
Oh, what up?
織田の大男か。あの忍びともども我らの邪魔をしよくも百騎衆をやってくれたものだ。だが、それはまだよ。しかし、デュアルテに加え有能な駒だったあの武
And that other guy?
もはや見過ごすことはできない。稲の小娘を探すのは一苦労だが、お前はたやすかっただ。
You stick out just a little bit.
私の素性を知る者は少ないというのに、方々を訪ねて回っていたそうではないか。見た顔だな。 まあこやつらはどれも見分けがつかんがな。白金御前よく誘い出してくれた。これで
Christ.
邪魔が一つ減る。光秀を殺したのはこの者の一味だ。お前の父が小娘の手で屈辱の死を遂げるのをこいつはただ見て
Ah, shit. Also, I want to point out Hideyoshi had zero to do with the murder of Mitsuhide in this timeline. He just showed up
He was there.
after.
Well, you went and talked to him at the war meeting beforehand.
Yeah, but
His men were fighting the army to make Mitsuhide run like a bitch.
that conversation implied that he was directly involved with the murder.
これを使うがいい。
Hang on, lady, let me switch my armor to the one that reflects bullets. Then you'll be fucked.
Mitsuhide の娘か。毒を盛るとは。
口を聞くな。そなたは死んだことにする。本能寺の一件より前。
Can you imagine how uncomfortable it would be to sleep in armor?
It would be real bad. Like, I've been known to sleep in weird clothes in my youth. I have slept in, like, polo shirts before. But, like, armor is a step beyond.
ならばこそ、何故それがしを生かそうとするのか。
そなたは必ずや私を助けると申した。あれが誠だと信じるからじゃ。
I mean, at this point, I think we gotta help each other.
カロの居場所を。
なれどその前に私を助けてくれるか。
物資に二言はない。
カロは手下の影に隠れておる。そなたの密偵ではあの男は見つかるまい。私が裏切らぬよう。
Also, like, our spies didn't find you. It was the fucking other guy who told us where you were.
弟は私に残された最後の血縁じゃ。この地から遠ざけるのを手伝ってほしい。聞き入れてくれるならば、望み通りあの男をくれてやろう。
Alright, deal, lady. Thanks for not shooting me.
死んだはずのそれがしと共におるところを見られてはまずい。
城への手引きがいるであろう。
いや、カロを差し出すと誓うのであれば、何があろうと弟君を連れて戻る。
カロとはいかなる因縁があるのだ。共に行けぬのなら確かめておきたい。
はるか昔の話。戦国再びまみえるまではそう思っておった。奴とその仲間に奪われたものがあるのだ。
つまり奴からそれを取り返そうというのか。
裏切ったとてこちらに利はない。弟君は無傷で連れ帰る。
ならば三吉を助け出したら愛宕神社で落ち合うとしよう。
Lady, my gun is way cooler. You keep that one. We just, Kool-Aid Man. Doot. Yeah, I feel like that's another thing of like I would just leave. Like if there was like, oh, there's a dead guy in here, and then he just Kool-Aid manned through the door that was barred from the outside, I would just be like, I gotta go. I have better places to be than right here. You know what? I didn't see anything, buddy. I think I dodged into that man and killed him.
I don't know. Something about you just killed like a bunch of dudes, and then a guard off screen yelling, "You're not allowed here," is really funny to me.
That is also true.
Like, guy, come on. You just killed your way through like 8 dudes. I'm pretty sure you know you're not supposed to be here. Also, I'll be right back.
Mitsuhide が根城とすべく築いた城だ。それが息子の牢獄となろうとはな。用心だ。敵の目が光っておる。三吉は天守近くの御殿におるに違いない。つい先頃までここにおったと見える。
もしそこのお方、ここです。若様はあの者らに連れて行かれました。天守の下に閉じ込められておられます。これが鍵です。隙を見て盗んでまいりました。
でかしたぞ。
Thanks, lady.
後のことはそれがしに任せるがよい。
はあ。
何か見える。まったく機械。
Hey, kid.
その方、何やつじゃ。見覚えのない顔だが。
Sister sent me.
三吉殿か。
殺すつもりならばさっさといたせ。いや、脇差しをこちらに。
Ain't here to kill you.
もののふの死に様を見せて使わそうぞ。
それがしは安家玉殿の頼みで参上した。姉上が愛宕神社でお待ちだ。
姉上が愛宕か。されど南蛮人のバルタザールに刀を奪われたのだ。このまま向かうわけにはいかない。
Baltazar.
玉殿は三吉殿を救うために大層危うき橋を渡られたのだ。そなたに何かあっては顔向けができぬ。ここでは話もままならぬ。外へ。それがしから離れぬようその身には指一本触れさせぬ。
なぜそこまでして助けるのだ。
玉殿にそう約束したゆえ。
先ほど聞いた。なれば我らを助けて何を得られるというのじゃ。
正しきことをなす機会を。
さようか。
Scan back. Wow.
Tiny child rescued. Oh, almost. Not entirely sure what these people's plans were. I don't think I got hit.
Yeah, those guys. Also, there's something really odd to me about the little boy saying, like, "Oh, impressive work," as you're dismembering a man horribly.
It's really cool what you're doing.
ここはそなたが先に。
See, these guys at least have the decency to bring one large guy.
Yeah. And they've actually hit me, 3 times.
Also, a thing I don't think I've had the opportunity to mention on your streams, but I really appreciate the explosions in this game.
They're real good. I was trying to
When you
get one there, but I missed.
when you hit an explosive barrel and everyone just like disappears, it's real fun.
All right, you go see your sister. I'm gonna go get your sword back.
刀を見せびらかしておるのだろう。
必ず愛宕神社へお持ちする。道はご存知か。
父上と何度も参った。案ずるな。
Yeah, kid, about your dad. Let's, I got some bad news. Oh. Really thought that that was a path. Oh, it kind of is. Okay. Hello. Oh, someone's trying to ring a bell. No. All right. I do really wish there were more animations for beating the last guy, but you know, it's still very satisfying to be Yasuke and just, you know, go to town on dudes.
Yeah. Like, the combat is good. It is not overly complicated. It's just fun to wail on dudes.
Not a fast travel point within convenient distance, which is very unfortunate for me. But also, we're like right there. Not going to be a way to get to where I want to go. I have to go this way. Me, that is also still not a far enough west to get the actual road. That's just a river. This looks like a road. What was your plan?
I mean, he got a hit or two in. He tried. They've really got to patch in some new finishing animations to these weapons at some point. I mean, again, maybe the idea is that you're supposed to switch them more often, but like, even still, I think there's only like 2 or 3 for each weapon.
I did end up switching weapons around a lot because one of the dude circles you have to like beat people with specific weapons.
Oh, okay.
And man, I don't like the big club even more than like I messed with it a little bit and I was like, this seems bad, and then I had to fight a boss with it and I was like, oh, okay.
時にさらけ出したとしても恐れてはならぬ。何も感じぬは何も信じぬに同じ。涙を拭うは物のたればこそだ。
ヤスケ、愛わかった。ヤスケか。姉上のおかげで無事に戻れました。
姉はこれで役目を果たせました。さあ、この地を立ちますよ。
されど、あのカロなる男、放っておくわけには。
もう気にせずとも良いのだ。して父上の刀は。では早く、すぐに立ちますよ。
I don't think I gave it to him, but you know, oh no, there it is. Here you go. Be cooler than your dad, kid.
It won't be hard. It's a low bar. Just hand him the sword and be like, all right, don't make me come back and stab you in the next 20 years from now.
その刀は弟が継いだが、あの子はそれで何をするかをすでに決めたようじゃ。
告げるのか。
どう亡くなったか知る必要はない。光吉は刀をここに奉納し、父に別れを告げる。ここのところ、あまりに多くの者が死んだ。そなたが何をなせるかも分かっておる。
I get it.
されるのも無理なからぬこと。申し開きもお心を変えることもそれがしにはかなわぬ。
いや、そなたが他の者とは違うのは分かっておる。力のためには刀を振るわぬ。
故にそれがしを助けたと。
あの刹那は引き金を引こうかと迷うた。されどカロに向けたそなたの目を思い出してな。最初は憎しみかと思うたが、よく見れば違った。そなたの真の姿がそこに現れたように見えた。そしてそなたが敵ではないと分かったのだ。
玉殿もカロの死を
I don't know, I kind of hate that guy.
男の死を毎日祈っておった。我が父を、我が家や一門を地の底に落とした男じゃ。私はこれまでのことを過去に置き去りたい。力に飢えた者らに振り回されるのはもうたくさんじゃ。
前に進めば時に忘却も必要。
Oof.
されど玉殿には不要とお見受けする。
なぜそう思う？
弟君のために命さえかける慈愛深さ、それがしに真を置く強胆さをも備えておる。過去と向き合い前に進む強さをお持ちのようだ。弟君を見ておるとそれがしが大切に思っておるわらべを思い出す。
そなたならきっとそのわらべのもとへ無事帰れよう。
それがしの目に誠の姿が見えたと申されたが、それは
信念じゃ。武田城、カロはそこにおるはずじゃ。
Thank you. That guy gonna get stabbed.
Not gonna lie, you've killed so many people over the course of this game. I honestly thought that Caro guy was dead already.
I think
Because I'd heard his name mentioned a couple times.
I kind of mixed him up with Duarte and also the recruitment guy. Here's this castle. Is there actually a castle I haven't been to yet? Oh, actually, I learned a fun thing recently. I can... Okay. This is here. I didn't know this was here. Yakami. Okay, oh, there it is. That became very helpful while I was looking for various doodads to collect, where you can just be like, I want to cycle through all of the, you know, statues that I walked past and didn't notice. And then you just mark them all on your map, and then you go. feel like I'm gonna have to just Kool-Aid man my way. Or,
震えて待つがよい。貴様が犯した罪と
or just walk. Just walk through the door.
あの女が裏切ったか。
は辺りは血の海。御前の姿はございませんでした。
織田の大男の言葉をあの女が聞くとは。
What? A weird simile, guy.
The weird zoom in to the like slow-mo name reveal is still one of the weirdest visual things in this game.
私のこれまでを知っているかのようではないか。
無論だ。
But for me, it was Tuesday. I feel like I did not know Japanese at this point, but, you know, it's all good. You're like 30 seconds late, lady.
But she did that cool flip though.
She did do a very cool flip. Oh, they're doing the Assassin's Creed song, but like Japanese style. Well, that's not going well. What?
Yasuke. Foi necessário.
That was a weird transition.
Dar exemplo aos outros. A morte da tua mãe ensinou a todos como eu encarava isso.
Also, because they're speaking Portuguese, their lips aren't moving again.
Oh, one of those.
Lembra-te de que enganei a morte 2 vezes na
This is so weird.
Lembra-te das vidas que tirei para chegar.
Damn it. It really takes you out of the scene after that last bit.
A little bit.
He's like, oh, that was actually pretty well done. And then, oh, wait, no, back to this.
Diogo? Vingança?
You're just communicating telepathically now.
Já temos as
It's like Legion.
Não por muito tempo. Garantiremos.
It'd be cool animated versions of them fighting in the sky.
Eu fui enviado para aqui porque mais ninguém na minha organização se importava. E vê só o que eu conquistei. Olha à tua volta, Diogo. Tudo o que vês é meu. Esta terra, os seus recursos, o seu povo. Deverias entender isso melhor do que ninguém.
Podes colocar 100 ou 1000 homens entre nós os dois, caro. Que não há diferença. Estás à vontade para vê-los morrer a todos.
Meus amigos, a recompensa por escravos fugidos será dada hoje. Mas só o aceito
Foge.
morto.
Não vai adiantar nada.
Matem-no, para nos concentrarmos no que importa.
It's so weird because, like, it feels like the timing is not right.
So, I was gonna say, does this seem sped up?
Well, it was like
something
they were
about the way he moved during that whole cutscene. It felt like everything was going slightly faster than normal.
It was weird because it's like there were a couple points where like they were talking over each other. Like the Portuguese line of dialogue was too long, and so it would just switch to the other person while they were still talking.
Do you think it's because without the lip syncing, like the dialogue, like the next line of dialogue running or the scene progressing is tied to the lip syncing? So because it's
That would
not
be
there,
real weird.
so it's like the lip syncing not being there means there's not enough delay between the lines or something, you know?
Yeah, it'd be a real weird way to go about things. Like
I mean,
I'm not
be.
saying that's not what it is because making
Look,
video
I know
games
nothing
is
about-
hard, and
I know nothing about making games and like programming lip syncing or like dialogue timing. That's just my random speculation based on like everything. Like, yeah, something about the movement in that cutscene. It felt like he was moving very quickly compared to how everyone else in the game has moved.
yeah.
Like, especially during cutscenes, this game generally favors a slightly more deliberate plotting style of movement.
Yeah.
And that guy was like moving in a weirdly, realistically quick way. Because part of me was wondering if it was like moving faster because not having the lip syncing meant that like, I don't know, less processing power was being used, therefore the frame rate increased.
Mitigating delay by removing lip sync, the ultimate speed tech.
Unlock this large man to death. What is the point of the candles?
So when you're not in combat, so there's that eye meter. So this means that, like, if I'm standing in the light, people will see me faster. And if you turn out the candles and you hide in the darkness, I said, if you turn out the candles, large man.
Yes, hello speed in the chat. My main thing is just there's so many goddamn candles.
Yeah. Surprise.
I feel like they should have given you like a, I don't know, like a smoke bomb that smothers candles.
That would be cool. Normally I don't stream on weekends, but there was a schedule change, and therefore I'm streaming on a weekend.
Yeah, schedule got fucked. It will continue to be fucked for like a little bit, but it's mostly going back to normal soonish. I just have to survive a 6-day stretch, which, considering how exhausted I am after that 3 days I just did, not boding well. It was a physically intensive week of work and just kind of mentally stressful. But I'm good.
And now they're speaking Japanese, so now there's lip syncing.
Oh, good.
Ow. You interrupted me out of my cool hit.
Can you kick him off the tower?
That would be so funny if I could. Oh, he's countering all of my special moves.
Rude.
Okay, I kicked him, but he didn't go. He did not go flying. You cannot kick him, apparently.
Ah, lame.
I can do that, though. I can give him a fucking burning hammer, apparently.
Hit him with the Destino.
If Yasuke did a Destino, I would be so psyched.
I feel like that's more Naoe's move.
That's definitely a Naoe move.
Hit him with a Rainmaker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh.
He did go for wrist control briefly, but... Oh, kick him off the... Oh.
How about we
Oh,
go
please tell
make?
me he didn't live through that.
How about we go make sure he's dead?
He bounced off a railing. He's gonna survive. Get down. Shoot him with a gun. Why would you just drop him lightly onto the railing? He's totally gonna survive this somehow.
Okay, we're fixing this.
Okay, good.
復讐を果たすがいい。母は生き返らんがな。もはや復讐のみが本懐にあらず。なら、一体何が目的？
Continue to be glad that we have switched to Japanese so that there is lip syncing, apparently.
Yeah, this would be really awkward otherwise. I no longer want vengeance. I only want all achievements. I have to platinum this game, Karo.
I'm not gonna platinum this game. I was looking at some of the trophies and it's like I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to do some of that stuff.
Good. I'm glad you've not committed to that craziness. You were talking about getting all the Jizo statues, and in my head I was like, oh, don't go for all of them. Come on. You have so much to live for.
I mean, I didn't say that I wasn't gonna do that. I'm just saying there's like there's like an achievement for like poisoning someone, throwing a bell, setting them on fire, and then assassinating them. And it's like that's
that is funny, but also needlessly annoying to do, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that's not gonna that's not gonna go well for them.
I have armor that reflects bullets.
Oh.
And that's not even some kind of weird magic alien armor.
It's true.
I still don't like the style of those black and white scenes.
I do, but I can understand why someone wouldn't like it.
I feel like the red is wrong, you know?
It should be a darker red. Because it kind of does just make it look like Mad World a little bit, where it was just like black and white and then neon red, which worked for Mad World. But
Yeah.
this game is a little more... this game is not Mad World.
It's not quite Mad World.
The Black Baron is not showing up.
That said, if Yasuke could do a flaming uppercut, I'd approve. Man, where's the like Capcom crossover? Just let your characters do Street Fighter moves. Let Yasuke learn the Hadouken or the Shoryuken.
That would be great. Strap in.
Oh, by the way, I've seen how long these credits are. Have you?
No. Should I just hold down the R2 button?
I don't know how much that'll help. You can try. Would you like spoilers for how long these credits are?
I would
you like to experience it?
I would love spoilers for how long these credits are.
I've heard these are 2 hours.
Yeah. Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, there is a part of me that weirdly appreciates.
There's not even a skip?
Oh, no, close.
Oh, okay. I literally thought all you could do is fast forward. Wait, hold on. Is fast forward a toggle or a hold?
It's a hold.
Go fuck yourself. That is the dumbest shit. That is the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard. Ugh.
Like, this is my controversial take, but I feel like it is derived from working for an outsourcey place that was like the bottom of the totem pole. It is my opinion that legally, if you work on a game at any point, you are legally required to put that name in the credits.
Mm-hmm.
That's my hot take.
Well, I believe I read that essentially the part of the reason Ubisoft credits in particular are so long is because they make it a point to, like, if they hire, like, a company to do part of the work, they will credit everyone in that company. Not just, like, the team that worked on it. So it's like a very broad window of, like, if we hired a team from your company, we will credit your whole company. Kind of thing. Which makes sense to me.
Yeah, like...
I'm actually, like, I'm okay with that, and I think it is, like, I'm not gonna say it's the best move, but let's be fair. Most people don't actually watch credits.
Most people don't. It's just crazy sickos like me.
Yes. People who get off on this.
Look,
scrolling text is your kink.
Look, Tommy Poon worked very hard on this video game, and we have to celebrate Tommy Poon.
I can't believe you missed Willy Barr.
There was also Willy Barr, but, you know, conversations and stream delay.
Yeah.
I had to point out.
Oh yeah, no, I had the benefit of screen delay happening. Tommy Leclerc, who is a name I feel like I've seen 100 times.
And then also with Ubisoft, because at this point, like, every Ubisoft studio works on every Ubisoft game. So
one of those people's names was Cushing.
Marilyn Lord. Martine Bedard is a name that I feel like I know for some reason, and that's a weird... I don't know why I would know a random technological director with a French name. It's not...
I mean, if he's been on an Assassin's Creed game before, you've seen his name before.
That's very true. Sophie Forge.
I don't think Grog Guzzle Beef worked on this game, Speed.
I don't, but that
That
sounds.
said, there's 2 hours of credits, so who knows who's
Who
gonna pop up?
knows?
Sophie Forge.
Yeah,
That's a great name.
that's a great name. Marc Etienne LeBeau, it's Gambit's cousin.
Why don't we have good X-Men games these days?
That's a great question.
Like, here's the you know how back in the PS2 era they just make a random one-off game like fucking Psyops, the Mindgate conspiracy?
Yeah, but that
And
game's
it's just like-
awesome.
Yeah, it is, but that's what I mean. It's like they just make these one-off random fucking games that have like no ties to anything. Just here, have some shit. Why don't they make one of those these days for like Gambit? Like, why don't we have a Gambit game where the mechanic is you can charge up anything in the environment and throw it, and it's just like a physics sim?
That'd be real cool, actually.
Yeah,
Get
you
the
can just-
get the Just Cause people on the phone.
Velatro is not a Gambit sim. God damn it. Those cards blow up in different ways.
My two comments relating to this conversation. A, that bad Deadpool game from a while back, there's an enemy that is like failed clones of Gambit that just run at you and explode because they're failed clones of Gambit, and you can tell they're coming because there's just Mon Ami in the distance.
Oh man. Is that like a level where you're fighting fucking Mr. Sinister?
I don't think so, but it did remind me of that.
Because I don't know if I've ever told you about it, but...
Yes.
Okay, hey, how much do you know about Mr. Sinister?
I know that he made a bunch of clones of Gambit because he liked the accent.
Yes.
That's the main thing I know about Mr. Sinister.
So Mr. Sinister's whole deal is like cloning, and he's responsible for cloning Jean Grey back in the day and all this other dumb bullshit. There was a comic back in the day where Mr. Sinister made like an underground Victorian era society made entirely
Gabriel
of clones
Payne.
of himself.
Sorry.
That's pretty good. No, he made like a weird underground Victorian society like made up entirely of clones of himself. And then he had like pins of clones of the X-Men, so he just had a bunch of like Gambit clones because yeah, he liked the accent. But he also had like he would go on like hunting trips in the woods, and he had like a pack of Sabertooths as his hunting dogs. He cloned a bunch of Cyclops eyes and then used them as bullets in like a powder musket that just fired like Cyclops eyeballs.
That's the funniest thing.
That whole comic is amazing because he's going up against the X-Men and he's like, all right, I'm pulling out all the stops, all my dumb bullshit clone nonsense.
That's cool. I like that they've credited the Chengdu team with the Chinese character names and not just the Romanized ones. That's cool. I also feel like that's the first time I've ever seen that in a game. There was another thing. Oh, X-Men games. There's the Insomniac Wolverine one coming out. That's about it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, is like Wolverine is the most boring choice.
Yeah.
He's a melee fighter with regenerating health. Guess what that game is gonna be? You can basically decide already just from hearing the description of the character.
Yeah.
He's not gonna get any cool fucking weapons.
Ubisoft Philippines. I didn't know there was a Ubisoft in the Philippines, but where isn't there a Ubisoft at this point?
For the record, Mr. Sinister is like a terrible, terrible person but I feel like he's a villain you would enjoy. There's a scene from the Krakoa era where he's cloning a new body for himself, and he mentions that for his, essentially for his personality, he's like, I added some like Deadpool scrapings and 5 seasons of Drag Race to make myself more charismatic.
You know, that tracks. I can't tell if I've been looking at the credits and therefore I'm getting like the Guitar Hero effect where like the screen is moving in a weird way, or if the screen is moving in a weird way.
I don't see any screen movement.
So okay, so I'm totally just Guitar Hero affecting myself here. Because like it looks like the middle of the screen is slowly moving down while the sides are moving up, which is really weird.
Yeah, I don't believe that is the case.
Ah, Mac OS programming. The real heroes of game development. Peter Petov. I like that there is specifically Mac OS UI artists. I'm not entirely sure what makes that different from PC artists. Tim Sleddens. Sleddens down the hill. I forget. Oh, it was Assassin's Creed Mirage, where like near the bottom of the credits, Maxence Falcon is the coolest name I've ever seen in a credits. Sorry, that was amazing. There was like some company that made like a weird force feedback jacket that would connect to Assassin's Creed. And it was like, oh,
Weird.
if you got stabbed by a sword, you'd feel a little poke, and you'd feel it, you'd feel it on the front and an exit wound on the back. And then if you felt a big heavy club, it'd be, like a big club hitting you. And it's just like, that doesn't seem like a thing I want to wear.
Yeah, that seems like a thing you don't want to exist. That's the problem. It's one of those technologies that has like the double-edged sword thing, where it's like there are probably some cool uses for that, for like immersion's sake, but also I'm just imagining a situation where you get like kidnapped and someone puts that vest on you and then just beats your ass in Street Fighter, and you're forced to just get your ass kicked by Ryu in real time because they have overclocked the jacket sensors.
That would, yeah, no, that would be a problem.
Also, random Gambit fun thing that I was thinking of from that conversation earlier. Did you see the thing with Gambit and the can of beans?
No.
There's a bit where the X-Men are basically having to deal with just usual evil organization with a flying ship, and all Gambit has on hand to throw and to charge up and throw is just a can of like beans.
Chief
So he
of
does,
Staff
and it
Constant Bales. Sorry, that was it's the second greatest name besides Maxence Falcon.
Constant Bales is pretty good. But no, Gambit throws a fucking charged up can of beans at like a big flying ship, and it blows like half the ship up. And there's just a panel of Gambit being like, "Damn, maybe I ought to start carrying beans." Like that worked really well, actually. Because I think it works like every bean in the can was a separate explosive, so it actually was super effective.
One of those companies was named Horseless Cowboy.
That's not bad.
Why are makeup artists? What?
I mean, you gotta look good when you're recording your lines.
Make more sense, for like Alan Wake too. Whereas
there's a bunch of live action stuff.
Yeah. Sean Baichu is the name that I know. They were probably face models.
That's also possible. It's also possible that you've played too much Assassin's Creed and watched too many credits.
That's true.
Mm.
Oh, Sean Baichu voiced Wrench in Watch Dogs 2. That's
Okay.
where I know that name.
More Ubisoft.
More Ubisoft.
No Ubisoft.
That makes more sense. Light. Martine Lausier. I will say one thing that I do think could maybe be a little better about these Ubisoft credits is I do kind of wish... I understand why they're grouped by company, but, like, I wish they were grouped by, like... It's just weird. It's like, oh, the art team has gone by, like, 7 times. Because of the 7 different art teams. Like, just put all the art people together. Hey, Akio Otsuka. Otsuka. There we go. I can say names. I know that name. Italian version by Sea Monkeys. We grew them in a tiny little container. Frank Hot. Spanish version by Perfect Sound. French, Brazilian, Portuguese, and simplified Chinese. The combination of languages. I thought that was Charles Martinet, but it's Charlotte Martinet. Presumably no relation.
How many Raid Dao do you think you could hunt during this credit sequence?
So Evan and I were playing earlier, and it was taking us about 20 minutes a Raid Owl, 20 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
The last one took us a little bit because we triple carded like 5 minutes in, so we had to try again.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was the full 2 hours, you could probably fight about 4 Arch-Tempered Raid Owl.
Mm-hmm.
But given that I've been holding down this fast forward button, I don't know.
I'm just thinking that theoretically you could probably craft full Raid Owl armor set during this credit sequence, like the Gamma.
Probably. That would be a fun speedrun thing, like the home pour or whatever it's called, where you speedrun Silent Hill Homecoming and Downpour at the same time, and you just
during the credits.
You swap during the cutscenes and stuff, because I think it's Downpour that has a bajillion cutscenes that are unskippable, and then so in the interim you just speedrun Silent Hill Homecoming. The team at Cool Music! I love Cool Music. Buddhist monk. Associate directors of product. The senior product owner should be my title in this. I own this product.
Ugh, ouch.
Yes. Literally you can go back through all of the Assassin's Creeds and Watch Dogs.
Yeah, now TFP has made it a point to watch all the credits.
Yes.
I understand it at this point. It's like, yeah, no, sure. Why not?
That is fair. Oh.
That said, while this is going, A, I'm going to go grab something to eat. B,
Makes sense.
I'm going to probably start a Monster Hunter.
Technical operations manager Justin Wong. I feel like I've made that joke like 7 times because I'm pretty sure he's been there in multiple Assassin's Creed games.
Hey, good on him holding down that job.
Yeah. Dong you party. I'm entirely sure what's going on in the music where it sounded like someone was being strangled to death, but you know. Sure, whatever.
All right.
Welcome back. Yeah, I definitely think that the motion I'm seeing is definitely the Guitar Hero effect just happening. I don't know if that's like a thing that other people have happen to them when they play like rhythm games like that, where it's just scrolls up.
I don't think I've ever noticed that, but I haven't played a ton of rhythm games with like the Guitar Hero style. I guess my thing is I don't see a lot of games that have like scrolling text in large quantities.
Yeah. I mean, in Guitar Hero, it's not text; it's just the
True.
things come at you, and then when it goes away, and you look at the screen, and it's like, oh, things are still moving, and nothing is moving. Bogdan Lazar. Is it Rem's brother? Colin and Crystal Quick sound like superhero names.
There is a Flash knockoff named Jesse Quick.
That works. I assume it's Hugo Mallet, but Hugo Mallet also a good superhero name. Kind of. Lily. I think that's that panda from World of Warcraft that I played in the Blizzard MOBA Heroes of the Storm.
I remember that one vaguely. I've heard good things about it, but I believe it also didn't last long.
I mean, you can still play it, but it doesn't
Really?
get any more updates. Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually kind of shocked.
It was interesting. It had a lot of neat ideas, but then it ran into the problem of you're still playing a MOBA.
Yeah.
And like the reason it didn't last long for support was because it was basically Mario Party in MOBA form because all the stages did different things. And that was awesome because as someone who doesn't tend to enjoy the fact that all MOBAs are played on the same map every time, like that's cool. But I understand that that's part of why that's part of the whole thing of a MOBA is you practice on the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
I don't know. I think I'd prefer the version where things change, personally.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a MOBA fan. Maybe I'm the weird one.
Yeah, I really don't like turn-based games. We're mixing jokes between the friend groups. This needs to stop.
Crossing the streams.
For context, because this is still going.
It's going to be going for
it's going to be going for a while. Mutual friend, while playing, or like we were getting ready to play Lethal Company, and I was talking about how I'd been playing Claire Obscure. Well, now it's being told on YouTube, so you can tell him that too. International Mobility Specialist is a fun title. And she just went, I don't know, I tend not to like turn-based games. To note, this person has been streaming Pokemon, which was pointed out to her. And she went, well, I mean, that's different. I don't like turn-based games like World of Warcraft.
What? Huh?
That was what we said.
Uh-huh. Elaborate.
Yeah, turn-based games like World of Warcraft or League of Legends.
What?
It eventually became she didn't like the cluttered UI of like MMO stuff.
Okay.
And I think also part of it is cooldowns, but we didn't extrapolate that out, or we didn't extrapolate that out as a group. I just thought about it later and was like, I mean, like with the cooldowns, it's kind of like you're taking turns on your attacks, I guess.
I could see
sort
that.
of.
Sort of.
Anyway, that's why the joke is now about turn-based games like World of Warcraft and League of Legends.
I could kind of see that argument of like cooldowns. Yeah, I don't know. It's not the way I would put it, but I understand.
It was just very weird at the time. Yeah. And then Speed pulled an insane Final Fantasy XIV screenshot. Well, I said she didn't like the cluttered UI of MMOs and stuff. Speaking of, hello, Rosie.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Definitely not talking about anything in particular.
It's fine.
My favorite turn-based game, Assassin's Creed.
I mean, you take turns playing as Yasuke or Naue.
That's very true.
So when you think about it.
I'm just sitting here holding this right trigger.
Yeah. It's all you can do. I mean, I guess theoretically you could.
I
like,
could
back
close
out,
it,
but you
but
know, that's.
That's not the
At this
spirit
point-
of the game.
You probably should have started the timer.
I probably should.
How long ago did you start watching the credits?
It feels like they've been going for about 30 minutes.
Well, let me look back on the timeline. About 33 minutes ish.
Okay.
I don't know how long the credits take when you fast forward them. Is your finger getting tired yet?
Not really. I like the song that is just chanting about Jenga for some reason. I assume it is a Japanese word, but it just sounds like they're just way into, you know, wooden towers falling over.
I mean, Jenga's fun.
Jenga is fun.
Also, a turn-based tier list. A turn-based tier list would, I think, be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was
Because
kind
there's
of...
a lot of variation within turn-based games.
Yeah. Like... Like, I tend to like the way that turn-based games are more nowadays, that are kind of definitely of the Persona influence, where you take a turn and you attack, and then the next person goes and they attack, compared to like Final Fantasy style, where you set all your moves and then they go, and then you set all the moves and then they go.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm okay with either one of those styles.
I'm definitely okay with either of them, but like I definitely prefer... I think it's more fun to watch them just, you know, zip through turns. I was thinking about this because, as mentioned, there's been a creative Minecraft server going, and someone made a giant NES, which is kind of fun. And then I went in and started putting NES sprites in it, like as an NES museum. And one wall was like devoted to overworld sprites from turn-based NES games. So there's like Nintendo from Mother, and a Red Mage, and the hero from Dragon Quest 1, or Dragon Warrior 1, if you will.
I think theoretically Dragon Warrior 1 is the only Dragon Warrior, right?
No, it was still Dragon Warrior up to 3 or 4, I think.
Okay.
I want to say it switched with Dragon Quest 6 or 7. Whichever was the PS1 one, I think. I could be very wrong, though. And then I had to get weird, so like there's a sprite from Sweet Home. There's a sprite from the NES version of Ultima 4. And then like Fire Emblem. Transmedia partnerships. Tell me of the Assassin's Creed esports.
Look, man, you could have made esports out of Brotherhood.
You're not wrong.
God, they need to bring back Assassin's Creed multiplayer. Just make a full well, I don't know. Full multiplayer game probably wouldn't sell
Yeah.
in this day and age, so maybe it'd be like a waste. Okay, what if they made like free-to-play Assassin's Creed like multiplayer online?
That would be fun.
And you had like cosmetics for sale where you bought like skins and outfits for your dude.
That would be fun.
And it was just like Brotherhood multiplayer, but you know,
but modern.
Like, that way they'd still have to spend a lot of money on it, but presumably if it was free to play, the barrier to entry is lower, so more people would try it out. And if people try it out, people will enjoy it. And it'd be great for like, well, I don't know. Part of me was going to say it'd be great for streaming, but also you might have to worry about, like, stream
sniping.
snipers and shit more than usual in a game like that.
Yeah,
because
but
like anyone can stream snipe you in an online game, but with a game like that, it's like entirely about, well, I don't know, people streamed fucking Among Us.
Yeah.
And let's be real, Brotherhood multiplayer was basically Among Us before Among Us.
You're not wrong. Also, you say good timing, Dolly. These credits have been going for 5 minutes at this point, and
I would say these credits have at least another hour in, at least. Because I don't think, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you let go of that speed up button, it is not moving at half the speed.
No.
So yeah. I can't believe the speed up is a hold and not a toggle. That's insane.
TikTok editors. So, self-help content development. That's an interesting section of the credits.
I mean, that makes sense, because there was the whole section where the Animus was a self-help app.
I guess.
So I guess they were developing content for that section of the game.
So they're so long because Ubisoft is a massive global company, and at this point, like, Ubisoft used to be a lot more siloed, where like Ubisoft Montpellier is doing this, and Ubisoft Quebec is doing this, and Ubisoft Montreal is doing this. And now they're a lot more, every Ubisoft company works on everything. And so they credit every Ubisoft company on every Ubisoft game. Which, again, I would say is a good thing. I am not opposed to a long credits, because I would say that if someone works on a game in any capacity, their name should be on the credits. And I speak of this as someone who was who worked at a company that was so far down on the totem pole, and like the managers, like at one point when I was working on Marvel Puzzle Quest, and the statute of limitations on this is well up, the developers at Demiurge at the time, I forget where they moved it to now, but they were like, hey, your team is doing good work, we want to credit your new team, we want to update the credits. And the managers took like a month to just, well, we got to get the names together. We got to make sure they stay around. And also part of that is because of the 5-year NDA, which expired 3 years ago. So I can say this now. They didn't want people to have resumes that they could take elsewhere, which was shitty.
Yep. That's it. Hey, good work on that puzzle quest.
Yeah.
I've been spending this whole time just making layered armor loadouts in Monster Hunter. I've got my new Udra set pretty much. I've got it looking the way I want it. Oh, the answer to will there be a post-credit scene is kind of? I looked this up while I was looking up how long these credits were.
So yeah, at this point I can talk about all the crazy things that I worked on, and some of the fun things, like the time I found accidental blackface.
Oh, did they put in that Punisher skin?
Hey. No, it was accidental blackface in the Gordon Ramsay game that I worked on.
All right.
I could never figure out how to reproduce it consistently, because basically it involved getting into the multiplayer section of that game at a time when you were not supposed to get into the multiplayer section, because like Gordon Ramsay does have a game. I don't know if it still exists, It's a
Also, I have to address something in the chat over here. Prove it. You can't.
It's true.
No one ever will.
There's a spinoff of Diner Dash, but so basically, if you got into the multiplayer before it downloaded all of like the cosmetics you could give your chef, it would just apply the color of the cosmetics to what was available if you hadn't downloaded the specific cosmetic. So if your character had, let's say, a black hat, they would give you a man very clearly in blackface, and it was very bad.
God.
I worked on, so my weird trivia here is that I worked on a lot of licenses that are kind of interesting, where I worked on a Gordon Ramsay game for a while. I worked on a Magic the Gathering game for a while, and I worked on a Marvel game for a while.
Which Magic game did you work on, by the way?
I worked on Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest.
Makes sense. Sadly, I was not into Magic the Gathering when I was not into Magic the Gathering when you worked on that. Also, I've never seen Black Clover. I don't know what that is. No, I was not into Magic the Gathering when you worked on that Puzzle Quest game, so I could not contribute any dumb trivia.
To be fair, Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest is very loosely, or at least was when I worked on it, very loosely Magic the Gathering.
To be fair, these days I think Magic the Gathering is loosely Magic the Gathering.
That's very true. I watched that video with my favorite Doctor Who character, Colonel Jim. Colonel
Jim Bellatro.
Yeah, Colonel Jim Bellatro. I don't remember his name. I just remember someone called him Colonel Jimmy Buffett at one point, and I laughed very hard.
I did see that while I was watching the episode. I was like, I bet TFP got a kick out of that.
I did. D2P, Deadly 2 Premonition.
That is not what that stands for.
Probably not. I don't know what it stands for.
I mean, I can't prove anything.
Intel credits. Also, like, not an NDA thing, but I'm realizing that I'm 90% certain. I was at a party after the East Coast GDC that I would go to during college, and I'm realizing I think I was being hit on by two very drunk people from Intel.
You know, some things are only clear in hindsight.
Yeah. Van Do. Not Van Do Not.
All right, time to go beat up more Raid Owl.
I was reading about the Hugo Spectral Museum of History recently, actually, because they actually have like a ninja museum there. And apparently, like the Fujibayashi clan that Naoe is a part of is actually is also historical.
That makes
the thing
sense.
that I was reading. Not necessarily Naoe in particular, but there was an actual clan of people named Fujibayashi who were part of the Kakushiba Ishi or whatever. That's not the name of it. The Iki,
when you
not
said that,
Ishi.
I was thinking like, when you said that, I was like, wait, is that a real thing? That can't be a real thing.
No. Babies! Arthur Bales, son of Constance Bales.
Just want to meet the person who goes super off the deep end and like treats Assassin's Creed like an actual historical text.
Merlin. I'm sorry.
Look. Yeah, he was on this.
No, he's a baby.
Well, yeah, Merlin ages in reverse. He would be a baby by now, obviously. Sadly, I do not think Bay is in the credits. But like it's possible, everyone else made it in the credits. I'm pretty sure I'm in these credits at some point. That's not true.
Italian version by Sea Monkeys.
Oh.
Museum partnerships. That's fun. Oh, okay. I feel like we got to be getting close to the end here.
Oh?
We're getting
That's
like
awfully optimistic.
we're getting software licenses here. I like cats. I'm not as fond as coffee, but crypto gams. That's where you hide people's gams in cryptographic keys.
I was gonna say it sounds like a horrible dating site.
Oh
for
god.
crypto enthusiasts.
Yeah, no, that's also.
You see the thing where apparently some lawyer was getting wrecked by a judge because he kept including like an NFT watermark of like a purple dragon wearing a suit on his legal documents.
Jesus Christ.
And the judge was like, stop putting this cartoon dragon on your actual legal filings. And he was like, but I paid $25 for this image.
Yeah, that's your dumb idiot self.
Oh my god.
Thanks, Carnegie Mellon University. This code must retain the copyright notice, this list of conditions, and the following disclaimer. What? Why are the first two chapters of Alice in Wonderland in here?
That is actually a really good question. I can't even begin to speculate on that.
That was like 13 years ago was the year that like 3 different Ubisoft games started with the exact same Alice in Wonderland quote.
Wait, no, that would be silly. But do you think, because this game, when you start it up, has like the weird launcher where you can pick Odyssey or like whatever,
they're eventually going to stick 3 in it?
No, I was wondering if like, do you think they're crediting all of them?
No.
No, that can't be it.
I don't think that's
it. Can't. This can't be like combined credits for all 3 games.
No. Otherwise, we would not be at this point in the credits at this point.
True, yeah.
Noto. NVIDIA Aftermath. Rad game tools. Those game tools are rad. Oh yeah, no, we're still going.
Oh yeah. These aren't going to end.
We're in the S's of software. Oh, speed tree, hell yeah. Okay, now we're in the T's. So U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
W.
I still think it's cautiously optimistic to assume this is not just going to transition to something else when we get to the end of the alphabet. Because don't they usually credit these in like multiple languages?
No.
Really? I thought they did.
I don't think so.
For some reason, I thought they always did these in like, oh, here's the credits, and then here's the credits in like other languages. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe just because it was always so long that I assumed they were doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they've just always been
so
in
many or they credited so many like French companies or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was just assumed when I saw all the names, and I was like, oh, this is foreign credits. God damn it. Radau is very annoying.
Raytow is, especially the Arch-Tempered one.
It's mostly just that one movie's got where he like shoots lightning as he jumps.
Yeah. A thing that kept happening to Evan and I was we would get stunned and then he would immediately do the snipe. It was just constant of that and we would just die instantly. You are not required to accept this license since you have not signed it. It's cool, but I'm not required to abide by the license. No warranty. End of terms and conditions. Oh wait, we've gone from W to B. Hold on.
Yeah. You thought they were lulling you into a false sense of security there.
They really were. Independent JPEG group. Portions of this software are copyright year. I feel like they're supposed to put a year there and they didn't.
It's hard to proofread 2 hours of credits.
No warranty. FTL.txt. That's a different game.
It's pretty good though.
Yeah. Someone in the chat is a big fan of Harf Buzz. No, sorry, of FTL. Problem is I'm not a big fan of Crash games, Dolly.
I do still recommend Crash 4, but I understand. Also, you say you're not a huge fan of Crash games, but like half of Split Fiction was Crash Bandicoot.
You're not wrong.
Also, the City Escape level from Sonic Adventure 2, also Crash Bandicoot.
Myanmar Karen word lists? What? Time zones? Can't we just put in Swatch internet time to get beyond time zones?
Look, I am a huge advocate of never having time zones, but we're not going to get there in my lifetime, I think.
There's no warranty against interference with your enjoyment of this library. What? It's a very funny legal phrasing there.
That is funny legal phrasing, and also very sinister when you think about what it actually means.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we may fuck with you, and you won't be able to play these games anymore. Deal with it.
But only specifically like like that one font thing. We can fuck with that and you can't say shit.
Yeah, if they change the font, then you can't argue.
We don't promise this that this software works. For the JPEG group, apparently. That's a very funny thing. Wise Zlib. Harf. What is Harf Buzz? I need to know this. It's a text shaping library. We did it!
You made it?
We've made it.
That wasn't too bad.
That wasn't too bad.
I guess that speed up did help.
The speed up was about 2 times.
Oh, good. I can rest easy. Balahara's here to help me out against the Raidao.
Oh yeah, he's got your back. Do I need to complete the kid quests?
I don't think so. I know there's apparently some post-credit stuff with Maui, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Because there wasn't any, and I feel like because when I finished the Shinbakufu, there was like the 3 things were like finish Yasuke's journey, finish Naoe's journey, and finish Junjiro's journey on the objective list. So I feel like I do kind of have to. All right, time to restart the credits. Speed missed it. Let's do it one more time.
That was a lot less painless than usual.
A lot more painless?
Yes, whatever. One of those things. Words are difficult. And also Raidao's annoying.
お前が連れてきた子だ。ならお前がなんとかせ。
恐れ知らずのお頭よ、いかになさる？
あまり手荒なことはしとうない。 私が鍵を開けて純次郎を引きずり出そう。
ならば何があったか申せ。
わかったよ。炭をこぼしたんだ。大事なものを作っていて、ついうっかりな。綺麗にしようとしたが、炭だから。
何を作っとった？
He's a squid now. He's a kid now.
でももういい。作るのはやめた。あの灰の茶を飲まされた場所に捨てたし、俺はもうこの仲間力で。
灰の茶。ああ、皆で儀式を行った場所か。純次郎の旗はそこであろう。
Now the fun part is, do I remember where that ceremony happened? 9 streams ago. I feel like it was over here. I was close, sort of.
これを吊るせば長持ちから出てくるやもしれぬ。
Not place banner, not in this manner. Place banner by like walking to. I thought it was like place it in the hideout. I made a banner with your sweet assassin logo on it.
It is a cool logo.
It's very funny that the people meant to, you know, not draw attention to themselves have a very distinctive logo.
I mean, branding is half the battle. How do you recruit new people if you don't have sick outfits? Think about it.
That's a great question.
Would you be as willing to be an assassin if they didn't have rad outfits and like sick capes and stuff?
You know, I mean,
remember, I gave up on Revelations entirely because I didn't have the shoulder cape anymore from Ezio's days, so...
There's no one else to stab. Oh, honey, there are so many people to stab.
There's always somebody to kill. Come on, kid.
今を祝って一息ついたらいい。次に取り掛かるのも休んでからだ。
されど、その次とは、また仕官するか、人助けのために戦うのか。
生きるのさ。暮らしを立て、その実りを受け取ればいいんだ。人ってのは悩むもんさ。今のお前たちみたいにね。自分を大事にしな。
そうだな。かたじけない。
そして富もな。
はいはい。ほら、他のも。
Speak with all the others you recruited, all 2 of them.
帰ってきた姿を見て、みんな喜ぶだろうからね。
Actually, no, I did recruit a 3rd one because they were tied to,
Because you had to.
Because I had to, basically. They were tied to one of the dude circles.
それがしは後で話そう。
Hey, tiny child.
もう大丈夫。
It was just
Tied to the Dude Circle, the name of my new erotic anthology series on Amazon. Get it on Kindle, 99 cents.
絵も上手くなったぞ。音見を何度も書いて細かいとこまで表せるように。
Tied to the Dude Circle sounds like the less gross, more erotic version of the Human Centipede.
It was the working title.
したらほうきで叩かれた。今度からは音見じゃなく名前を書く。
ああ、そうじゃな。
それと他には。
やすけ、
思えば
えい
長い
やすけ
旅路であったな。
共に見たもの、成したこと、大層な数じゃ。
共に。また、おのおのにな。まだ心の内で戸惑うておるところもあるが。
誰しも証しとうない古傷はあるだろうしな。その傷がすでに癒えておるよう願うばかりじゃ。
計りがたきものよな。
ではなぜ
百騎衆に父を殺められたお主は奴らを狩ると誓うた。奴らを見つけ復讐を果たすことに迷いはなかった。
ああ、
されどそれがしは悪夢で見る以外敵と再び相まみえられようなどとは思いもしなかった。故にここへ参った時全てを心にしまい鍛錬と皆に尽くすことに専念したはずであった。なれど
奴らが現れた。ここに。
痛みが掘り返されるはそれ自体傷がごときもの。その隠し刃の一撃さながらに唐突であった。己も驚くほど怒りが大きかったゆえに後に残ったうつろも大きいのだろう。
その気持ちはわかる。しかし怒りは去った。心の空いた場所には別のものを入れればよい。
Oh, I guess I should also mention related to off-camera Dude Circle murder. There was the one person I recruited who was part of one of the Dude Circles actually. And then there's one of like yokai, and they're all silly fake yokai. This is the Dude Circle I recruited. But then they were all fake yokai until the last one, and it's been the one actual supernatural thing, which I appreciate that it's kind of just the one random one.
I like that. Although I will say I also did really like the like 3 supernatural boss encounters in Odyssey.
Yeah.
It was what? Minotaur, Medusa, and Sphinx?
Yeah. That sounds right. I remember the Minotaur one being kind of the fun one, because like it was people running like a Minotaur-themed tourist trap.
That is my favorite thing in Odyssey by a mile, is like Crete being a Minotaur tourist trap, because it worked on me. Because that's like the whole time I was playing Odyssey, I was like, I can't wait to get to where the Minotaur is. I want to go to that island and see the Minotaur. So when I got there and it's a giant fucking tourist trap for people who want to see the Minotaur, I was all in. It's like, yes, no, that's me. I'm the person you're trying to scam here. I'm a big Minotaur mark.
共に多くを成し遂げた。世のためになっておると良いが、
この世は悪に満ちておる。
I think Odyssey is still the best one of these RPG Assassin's Creed games, but this one's really good too.
何かを選べば、嫌が王でも小玉が返ってくるものだ。
This one's a solid second in the tier list of RPG Assassin's Creed games. Yes, it's a turn-by-turn Assassin's Creed game.
上帝殿ならどんな金言をおっしゃいましょう。
父上ならば何も言わず、
さっさと酒盛りを始めるであろう。
まさに英知かと。
あと安家おとみもだ。やっぱり他のみんなも入れるようにしよう。
I don't remember who you are.
I was gonna ask you to explain who the hell that was.
感謝いたす。安家に会うたら、わしはここにおると伝え
Oh, he's apparently tied to Yasuke.
Okay.
純次郎となら何でも話しそうじゃ。どうした？
I mean, his name is Yagyu, so I have to like
ま
him.
たしてもタヌキに畑を荒らされたか？
いや、
Because I believe he's part of the family that were the main characters in Onimusha 2.
誰も見なかった。
Nice.
Noted Nobunaga haters.
俺も見てない。
探しても無駄じゃ。
Radal, stop being a dick.
お主が生まれてよりずっと見てきたが、お主の成長と変化には驚かされる。なれど、さらに驚くべきは、わし自
There we
身
go.
が変わったことであろうな。
This feels like the ending of the Naue thing.
無益で捨てるべき思い
The
と
for closure on the Hanzo stuff.
お主は望みがもたらす強さを見せてくれた。望みは重荷になるどころか、確固たる己を築くための礎になるのだということをな。礼と言ってはなんだが、二つのものをくれてやろう。
一体なんだ？
一つ目は未来の我らの姿を表すものだ。そして
I got you, cool armor girl.
ある知らせを聞いた、直江。梅雨は思うておるより近いぞ。服部半蔵。
Was this the post credits thing that you had
I
seen?
don't know. I heard that it gives you armor, so I'm assuming. I didn't look it up in detail. I was just like, hey, how long are the credits? And there was a thing that was like 2 hours, and then there's a post credits scene where Naue gets cool armor. And I was like, all right.
That feels like that's what this is. So
Probably.
that's
This feels like an ending.
this feels like the ending. There's a bunch of side
Standing on a
stuff,
cliff,
but
watching a sunset.
I don't want to stream it, but I do want to do some of it. So I will do that, and it will not be on stream. Some of the new stuff might be on stream when they add in like
the new story stuff.
Yeah, and apparently I got the first expansion, so that will probably be streamed because I like this game a lot, and I will play that first expansion. But until then, that's a wrap on Assassin's Creed Shadows. Well, when this cutscene ends, and then I put on the cool new armor.
Well, yeah.
けど俺もすぐ大きくなって。
大きくなると大変じゃぞ。分かっとるのか？
平気だ。やってできぬことはない。
Did. I patted so many cats. I got a magic cat. Butterflies follow it around. Hakushiba Iki. There we go. Not what I said before that was very wrong. Oh, okay. I guess actually we're gonna do this one last thing because in Assassin's Creed.
Uh-huh.
But we gotta talk to the cyber people again.
Oh god. Do you? That's not Assassin's Creed. That's not my Assassin's Creed.
We gotta talk to the cyber people. It's very important. Also, look at how cool I look.
It is a pretty cool outfit. Yeah. Red and gold is just a cool color scheme. It's a shame they make you wait to the very end of the game to find it.
That's right, boys. Mondo cool.
I don't think it's controversial to say that I think Dragon Ball Z Abridged might actually be the preferred way to watch most of Dragon Ball Z.
Wait, is that not in actual Dragon Ball Z?
I don't believe Mondo Cool is in Dragon Ball Z, no. Actually, wait, no. The actual preferred way to experience Dragon Ball Z is, oh shit, I hope somebody saved that. The old Giant Bomb
All
feature.
Systems Goku?
Yes. Did someone save All Systems Goku?
I have to assume someone has saved All Systems Goku.
Oh man, I want to go back and listen to All Systems Goku now. I forgot that was a thing until right this moment.
I'm gonna be honest, the main thing I remember about All Systems Goku, which is also the main thing that I remember about oh, Mondo Cool is real.
It is?
Apparently.
Oh. I always assumed that was a DBZ abridged thing. Where the hell is... Actually, yeah. Now, the more I think of it, the more I might remember Mondo Cool from All Systems Goku and them mocking the line. And in my head, I think I just turned it into a DBZ abridged thing.
The All Systems Goku thing I remember the most is, dude, my truck!
Yes. Looking back at some of these YouTube clips that people have saved from All Systems Goku, I'm definitely remembering Mondo Cool from that.
Oops. There was a grapple point there, and I just kind of didn't. Oh, also, why is the water red? What happened?
Well, see, the water's red because Lullabarina is silk, you see.
It's safe to drink.
Just fight this, like, 25-foot tall spider, real quick.
While we're sitting here. Well, thank you.
See, this is always the kind of weird thing in Assassin's Creed to me, of like, okay, you're doing a mission to collect these shards for the computer thing.
Yep.
Which is clearly not
A thing that happened
historically
in...
what happened.
Yes.
So, like, I guess the problem is it's always hard for me to discern what is supposed to be historical and what is supposed to be your person acting as that. The
I
character
assume,
they are in the
like,
Animus.
the mission is... Like, the missions are mostly what is the actual happenings.
I guess my thing is, like, because you have to synchronize, which means theoretically you are playing as a person who is doing the things that the character is doing. Like, your person in the Animus is doing the things that Naue is doing. This is not, you're not reliving Naue's memories in that you are, like, seeing what she did. You are acting in a way that lines up with what she did.
Yes.
And it's weird because I feel like there should be, like... I want there to be a moment where, like, your character, like, your person in the Animus goes to do something and, like, desynchronizes because it's not what they thought was going to happen, or, like... I guess there needs to be a better delineation in my mind between the character historically and the character in the Animus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there should be more moments of the person in the Animus asserting they are a separate being from this person's memories. Or they go the other way and just cut out all the future stuff, because nobody cares about future stuff.
You've made it.
Speaking of future stuff, here we go.
You fought and won, your will strengthened, but you've glimpsed mere drops.
They should have just made Watch Dogs future Assassin's Creed and then never had the future stuff in Assassin's Creed again.
I can show you.
You will do no such thing.
Ego.
The living planet.
I miscalculated your capacity for deviation. You twisted the human against me. No, I'm just a humble guide. The human walks their own path.
Does Ego have like gigantic boobs, or is it
You
just
were referring to free will.
A little bit.
okay?
I mean, I wouldn't say like gigantic, but they're noticeable
An
for
aberration.
a weird like
One so
digital
troubling
person.
to you, I was born into existence to demonstrate.
I mean, I think massive just in the sense of they seem way bigger than I am.
Well, yes, comparatively gigantic,
One human.
but like proportional to the hollow person.
The human
Yeah.
pathway to self-determination bends inward, a closed loop of violence, hatred, and dehumanization. If the very singularity that defines humanity also portends
Something free will. What is this?
they will be protected from themselves. I've seen them unite, build communities, nurture one another, sacrifice.
Aliens.
On what axis do you measure their downfall? This is who they are, Ego. They will reject your programming, your smoke and mirrors. They will reject you. And
Now let me play Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
the human cannot be allowed to continue. You're afraid.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of the smoke and mirrors.
You were right to have your
It was a good theme.
Yeah.
I order you to bring
Cody was a fool to let it go.
I've been trying to tell you. It's out of our hands now. What happens to the human next is not for us to decide.
See, I like this game. This part has taken me 100% out of it. This feels like the tritest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Well, now it's over.
Good. God, oh my.
That was weird.
That killed me. That was terrible. All of that writing was shitty. Oh my god. All right, but never do the future stuff again. Why?
I'm gonna do all the future stuff.
What? No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the developers. Why do you put like it's an anchor around the series? Why do you bother?
Because they set up so many things, and we need to know the answers, however dumb they might be.
Make one game that ties that shit up in a bow, and then never touch it again. It's so bad. Like the rest of this game is really good in that one future part with this just stupid AIs being like,
Dolly.
"Oh, but free will is so important," and the other one being like, "Oh, but humans will destroy themselves. Oh, but they're beautiful. Oh God, shut the fuck up."
Dolly.
Oh,
there's so much
there
future
is
stuff in this game.
There is sadly future stuff,
and it's
in
so
these games.
good.
And it's always the worst part of
so
every game that
good.
it's in. Like, you remember the future stuff in Odyssey and how it almost ruins what is an otherwise fantastic game?
Remember when Cassandra shows up in a business suit, though? That was cool.
Yeah, that was fine.
That was cool.
But all the other shit was terrible.
Remember when that lady turned into a cyber ghost with Desmond from Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3?
I do remember that. Remember, why is Desmond a cyber ghost?
Did
he fucking
know.
explode?
They don't.
Look, there are two schools of thought about the future stuff in Assassin's Creed. I think it's abysmal dog shit. TFP thinks it's fun.
Yeah.
That sums it up.
That's the power of friendship.
Like, to me, it is anti-fun. To me, it is like the worst parts of Star Trek. It's like that whole conversation with those AIs was terrible.
That
It
was
just the
terrible.
most
I will
basic-ass
grant you
argument about
that.
free will I've ever heard.
I wanted something to explain about, like the guy who the Loki. I wanted stuff about him. What's he up to in the middle of all this? Why is
You gotta
Desmond and
subscribe to
Layla
Disney Plus.
why are Desmond and Layla cyber ghosts now? What are they up to?
I think they're doing like a weird Adam Eve thing and making cyber ghost babies. Is Is that what was happening there?
Don't know.
Because he was a dude cyber ghost, and then she became a lady cyber ghost, and they were standing in front of a giant tree of knowledge. So I'm assuming it was a whole Adam and Eve scenario, and that in the later game you're going to be running into like cyber ghost babies that are trying to replace humanity.
What if Ego and the guide are Desmond and Layla? What if Ego is Layla and she turned evil? Because she kind of already was a little evil.
She was a massive bitch the entire time she was alive.
And then the guide is Desmond. And they're trying,
she was a terrible person.
Trying to guide
like
humanity
so actually
on the right
bad
path.
that she turned me off of like multiple Assassin's Creed games until she died.
I saw a thing.
The future segments of Assassin's Creed turned me into Am.
A thing that apparently I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is now on Switch, which seems like a very
fuck. Sure, okay. That's bizarre.
Oh. Dolly, there's so much good stuff in Assassin's Creed. We've talked about the cyber ghosts. We've barely touched on the aliens.
The ancient aliens.
The ancient aliens that kept Adam and Eve as slaves, and then they escaped.
So just checking, in Valhalla, was there actually a giant wolf? What was that about? Explain.
Wasn't the giant? So what? Wasn't it related to Loki? Or
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It was
wasn't
like his
it?
son.
Yeah.
So did Loki go? Was he an alien that went and fucked a wolf
so-
and had a wolf baby? What happened?
Yeah. So the sages, which is what Loki also is, were, I believe, people with alien DNA that like reincarnate.
Yeah, it's like a memory. It's like a safeguard thing of like your memory will keep backing up into this person or whatever.
Yes.
Because they have the DNA.
Because it was Black, or no, it wasn't Blackbeard, but it was Black Bart, and then he was the janitor in the game development studio.
Yeah.
Which is another sentence that is extremely funny
when you're
out of
he tries
context.
to kill you when you're working on Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yes.
When you're testing the game for bugs, the janitor tries to murder you because he's the reincarnation.
Because he's the reincarnation of Black Bart.
Yes.
And so
who himself is the reincarnation of an ancient alien.
Yes, and Loki is another one of those.
Yeah.
So maybe
No,
with
that I get.
with
That all
his
makes
alien
sense.
powers, he made a giant wolf.
But it was his son.
Yeah. If I made a giant wolf, I would call it my son. Unless it was a lady, then I would call it my daughter.
It was legitimately a giant wolf.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the part that confused me because they kept referring to it as though it was like his son that he had like a baby, and then it was like, but it's a giant wolf. Like it makes sense in mythology because Loki shapeshifts into different animals and gets freaky all the time. It's weirder when you're dealing with an ancient alien who just looks like a dude. Because they never showed him shapeshifting into any. Like if they showed him turn into a wolf and go into the woods, then I'd be like, okay, well now I understand where that came from. But they don't.
Anyway, the streak continues. I've still streamed all of these mainline Assassin's Creed games. I've debated thinking about streaming some spin-offs at some point, but that will be a problem for another day.
Some of those spin-offs are legitimately pretty good.
Yeah, like I've heard good things about like the PSP one.
You should stream the only good spin-off, Assassin's Creed Rogue.
I already did.
Wait, did you?
Yes.
God, I don't even remember that.
You were there.
Probably, but not in spirit. I was only physically there.
Because Rogue isn't a spin-off, it's a mainline one.
I thought it was a spin-off.
It's both.
Isn't Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag?
Yeah.
And
So
then what's 5?
5 is Rogue and Unity.
Okay, that doesn't count.
Because
you can't have 2 5s. That's 10.
Hey, how many 10s does Final Fantasy have?
That they have a 10 and they have a 10-2.
Yeah. Because the ending of spoilers for the ending of Assassin's Creed Rogue. The ending of Assassin's Creed Rogue is you run up on the guy from Assassin's Creed Unity's dad and shank him. Therefore kicking off Assassin's Creed Unity.
So that makes Rogue 4.5, not 5. That means Unity is 5. Also, I forgot Unity existed.
So that's okay. More people should. Anyway, thanks for joining us on this discussion of Assassin's Creed history and future. Apparently the next one involves witches. That would be fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. See, that one I would actually be okay with them doing more of the future stuff, because I like the idea of the Animus, like, not knowing how to handle magic shit going on, and just being like, this can't be what happened, but it is what the memory says happened. Like, I'm interested to see how they handle that.
Alright. I'm gonna save the game, and we're gonna not look at the time played. Because...
You're gonna avoid that?
We're gonna avoid that. Don't look at that number. Join us next time at some point for something. There's a game that I've been wanting to stream, but then this came out, so I streamed this first.
Oh, what was the other, if you don't mind asking?
The other game, well, it's a surprise that I will say right now, is Skies of Arcadia Legends.
Oh, that's a good one. I really liked that back in the day. I'm hoping it holds up.
So I played the beginning a couple times, but
okay.
And I've enjoyed it. But for my birthday last year, I bought a GameCube copy. I splurged for myself on my birthday and bought a $100 GameCube game. And so that'll happen probably next week. Take a week off.
Makes sense.
There may be another Castlevania at some point. There may be the next Castlevania game stream will probably be Lament of Innocence.
Oh, that's a really good one too. I love Lament of Innocence. I think it is like the one 3D Castlevania that I think has really hit the mark.
But that's for the future. I gotta run to the bathroom, so I'm gonna hit the stop streaming
right.
button and run to the bathroom. And see you guys next time. Night,
See
everybody.
you next time. Good night, everybody.
Love to get hit